Okay, part two. Um, Anytime you have an interior wall that's running parallel to your floor joist, there needs to be additional support under that wall. Sometimes it's a double joist, sometimes it's separated with some blocking in there. It needs additional support. Anytime you have an opening in the floor, whether it's for a chimney or for stairs or a chase for flues, whatever, you end up doubling the joist and then a double header on each end, because what that's doing is it's taking the load that would be on this joist and transferring it to the joist on either side. Floor joists need bridging uh, at the midpoint. It can be 1x3 and an X bridging like this. It could be a solid block the same size as the floor joist, or it could be metal straps like this. And what that does is it provides rigidity to the floor and helps decrease the amount of bounce and wobble that's in the floor system. Uh, Beyond traditional framing lumber, we have floor trusses or pre-manufactured floor trusses. This example here has metal webs that's anchored inside of framing lumber. Now, this is just one variety. And these come in numerous sizes based on the manufacturer. They can be top bearing, meaning they hang from the top portion, sits on the wall, or they could be bottom bearing. It just different manufacturers make them different ways. And here are some other examples. This is a top bearing here over a beam. This would be a kind of a bottom bearing with some blocking in it. Here's a bottom bearing here. So just some different examples of floor trusses, and they can span longer distances than traditional, framing lumber can. Then you have a subfloor, which typically is typically it's 3/4 inch plywood. This graphic says half inch, but typically it's 3/4 inch plywood, and it's laid perpendicular to the joist as you're laying it out. Uh, Oftentimes these are tongue and groove panels, uh, so all the edges and the ends have to be supported. Okay, now we have a bunch of engineered wood products in which they take smaller trees that are not big enough for framing lumber, and they grind them up into, or they shred them, and then, with glue and resin and things like that, they form them into boards. Um, they can be used as band boards. They can be used as headers. Beams. There's all kinds of stuff available. And then one of the nice things about the engineered wood products is that they are straight. They will not. They do not warp. They don't bend. They don't crack. Now they cost more, okay, but they are more true to size and shape. And here's an example of some being used as beams for an entryway. Okay, one product that we have is called OSB, or oriented strand board, and this is often used as roof sheathing or wall sheathing. Um, it comes in a 4 foot by 8 foot panel. You've seen it, I'm sure, at Home Depot or on buildings or whatever. It has a coating on it which would withstand a little bit of moisture, but not a lot. So it has to be weatherproofed. Then we have what's called parallel strand lumber, or PSLs. And these are often used as beams or as columns. And they are very small slivers of wood that are, pressed together into large billets or chunks, and then it's cut to the specific size. And these things come in a variety of sizes and lengths. I mean, up to 66 feet long. Uh, you know, it, but they make very good beams and supports for buildings. Um, Next, we have what's called laminated veneer lumber, or LVLs, and these are made 1 3/4 inch thick, which is thicker than your traditional lumber. Um, but two of them gang together will be the width of a 2x4. would be 3.5 inches, which makes it great for window headers and door headers. You just put two of them together, and it creates your header for you. They can be ganged together to make, beams or joists or, you know, any variety of structural parts that you need. This glue laminated lumber, which takes strips of traditional lumber. These are actually finger jointed together, as you can see right here in the little graphic, and it